everybody, Cutroneo here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is video number 29 of my video progress series on Roland Dyens Saudade No. 3. So what we just heard was my first performance of the dance. And like I've been saying in my previous video and other videos, I am repeating the cycle of practice that I did for this past week, where I will be focusing on one single section of the piece per practice session. I'll be giving 15 minutes to difficult excerpt areas and then following that up with 30 minutes on a singular section. So in this section, what I focused on has been primarily the same for the past few weeks. I'm isolating the left-hand hammer-ons from nowhere section, and as I'm doing it more and more, this is I think something really important. My process has not changed, but rather what I'm able to accomplish in the same amount of time has increased. What I start off with as I'm doing that section is I will immediately start off doing 3 times in a row singing the letter names. And I do that just to make sure that I maintain the memorization of that section. From there, I count it out loud. And I'm doing both of these with the metronome. So the metronome is on as I'm doing this. From there, I spend the rest of the time, which I allocate 10 minutes for with this section, working on the balance. And, really trying to soften up the right hand pluck while I really am trying to get as much out of the bass notes as possible. The weakest finger is this first finger, I think mainly because it's overstretched and I can't get, for my hand to really get that sound, my hand has to be pretty relaxed to make that happen. This is definitely a more strenuous stance for the left hand. And so I've been working on that and actually, just working on the balance. And I do the balance slowly. Holding this chord shape is a little strenuous for my hand, so I do take a lot of breaks. After each repetition, I kind of allow this hand to relax and not build up tension, which I think is important because sometimes, we're doing an awkward fingering that may stress out the hand, and there's no other way around it. There's no other fingering that I can use for it. And it's just, as I'm practicing, I'm trying to use as little amount of extra energy as possible, but still, there may be some buildup, and in a full performance of the piece, it might not be that big of a deal, but as I'm practicing it consistently for 10 minutes, my hand can kind of cramp up a little bit, holding that chord, the whole entire time. This shape doesn't change other than moving around. So, I do take a lot of breaks in between repetitions. I found that allows me not to tire out the hand. The second thing that I'm doing is I'm saying letter names of the whole piece and working up to doing that. I've reduced the amount of time to 10 minutes instead of 20 minutes doing letter names here, and with the specific purpose of trying to just work a little bit more efficiently. I had another thing that I wanted to include in my practice. So because there were 3 things that I'm touching, I gave just 10 minutes to each one of those. So in that 10 minutes of singing letter names, I was able to get to the same amount that I would have normally have taken me 20 minutes. So that will improve and get better, and I'll become more and more able to sing the letter names at speed. And I'm already seeing that improvement in my practice. So the third thing that I did today, which is something new that I haven't done with this piece before, is I'm working at different metronome markings. So what I'm doing is the performance speed of this piece is 80 to the quarter note. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the tempi 60, 70, and 80 as my sort of 3 markers of the piece. So 60 is 75%, 70 is 7/8 speed, which whatever percentage that works out to, and then full speed is 80, obviously. And so I'm working at those 3 speeds and just really making sure that certain issues that may be coming, whether they're buzz notes, right hand things that aren't quite working out, I'm taking the time to work all of those things out at each one of those speeds. And that's a method of practice that I did when I was in grad school, and I specifically remember it working on the Soar C major sonata, the single movement C major sonata that I learned after my graduate recital. And to me, that really allowed me to get the piece going at a rate and at a comfort level that I had not done that quickly. It really allowed the progress of the piece to happen. I think what happens along the way is that as we're doing slow fast practice, where I would do 80 to the eighth note or 80 to the quarter note, there's those in-between speeds that we just want to make sure bad habits aren't crossing over into. It also gives me a chance to really refine what it is that I'm doing on the guitar, making sure that it's working, making sure that it's consistent, and then I move on to the next speed, do the same thing. And then I try it out at the fast speed. I don't spend a lot of time on the fast speed. So let's take a listen to the final performance, and we'll meet back and wrap up. So that was the final performance, and something interesting happened within that performance. As I was doing the Hammer-Ons from Nowhere section, I had a thought run through my mind, which was, as I've been trying to keep the right hand quiet, I've been getting more and more tasto. And I haven't been happy with that sound. So as I was playing and as I was listening, I realized, wait a second, maybe the two sounds are too similar. I mean, if you think about it, those sounds are really, really similar, and it could be really easy for that to get lost in a context of texture. So you will have noticed that I change to this, to Ponticello. So, you know, I'm going to experiment with that definitely and see if I like that more or less. Interestingly enough, it's actually easier to keep them quiet because there's so much string tension. You get such an immediate just pluck, whereas here it's a little soupy feeling. And maybe I'll even... maybe you guys can let me know down in the comments below what you think of that. If you like the tonal shift of the accompaniment being brighter and allowing, I think the basses are a little bit, obviously because they're on the bass strings, but I think just in general, they have a little bit more of a fuller, richer sound. So those two things can complement each other really well. Other than a handful of just little inconsistencies, I thought that in the second performance, my interpretation decisions came through way better. And that's really what that 3-tier metronome practice is going to do for me. I'm going to be able to do and really refine and really reinforce dynamically as well as interpretation-wise exactly how I want to play those sections. That's it for this video, and tomorrow we're going to take a look at the third section. So please, if you haven't done so already, please hit that thumbs up button if you made it to the end of this video. Your support is greatly appreciated. I've been doing this for almost a full month now. Been getting a pretty good feedback on the series. People have been speaking with me privately about it. Not so much comments in the comments section, but feel free to type away below. If you haven't done so already, please remember to subscribe to my channel so that way you're notified every time I release a video once you hit that bell notification button. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.